Hello everyone. In this session, we'll be studying about solving problems on Huffman coding procedure. So we have a question which says apply Huffman encoding procedure for the given messages. Construct binary code and also determine the efficiency and redundancy of the code so formed. So the probability is given as zero point 0.4, zero point 0.2, zero point 0.2, zero point 1 and zero point 0.1. So now the first step in Huffman encoding procedure that we are supposed to follow is we are supposed to arrange the given probabilities in decreasing order. So in the first column, we'll be writing the symbols. So symbols we have taken as S0, S1, S2, S3 and S4. And in stage 1, we will be arranging all the given values of probability in decreasing order. So first we have written the largest value, that is zero point 0.4. Next largest value is zero point 0.2. So we'll write zero point 0.2. We have twice. So we'll write zero point 0.2 once again. And next we have 2 times zero point 0.1. So we'll write 0.1 and 0.1. Okay. After writing the probability values in decreasing order, we will first identify the two least values in this. So the two least values in this list is zero point 0.1 and zero point 0.1, right? So what we'll do is we will assign a value 0 and 1 for the least two values that are present. The first value will be assigned with the value 0. Second least value will be assigned with the value 1. Next, what we'll do is we will combine these two symbols to get a new symbol. Okay, to get a new symbol. So after adding these two values, that is 0.1 and zero point 0.1, we'll get 0.2. We already have 0.2 and 0.2 here. Okay, so this zero point 0.2 should be placed in accordance with the decreasing order in stage 2. So in stage 1, what we'll do is we'll arrange the probability values in decreasing order. We will identify least two values of the probability, and then we will assign a value 0 and 1 for that, and then we will add the two values. Okay, and we should also assign a position for that new value in the list. So in stage 2, we have already 0.4 in stage 1. So there is no operation performed on that. So we'll write 0.4 as it is. Next, the obtained new value of 0.2 is written first, is given the position number 1. So even though we have 2 point 2's here, the newly obtained value, that is 0.2, is written first, and these two existing 0.2's are written below the newly obtained 0.2. So we'll draw a downward arrow mark and then write this point over here. Next, this 0.2 is written next to that 0.2. Next, in stage 2, you're supposed to follow the same procedure. It is already arranged in the decreasing order. What we have to do is we are supposed to identify the least two values of probability. So we have again 0.2 and 0.2. After identifying the least two values, what we'll do is we'll assign a value 0 and 1 for that. So I've assigned 0 and 1 for that. And after adding, what we'll get is 0.4. The newly obtained 0.4 is written first. The already existing 0.4 is written next by drawing a downward arrow mark. And next, this 0.2 is the least value, so I'll write below 0.4. So draw an downward arrow mark and write 0.2. Next, this is about the stage 3. Here, the least two values are 0.4 and 0.2. So I'll be assigning 0 and 1 value for that. So after assigning 0 and 1, I am supposed to add. So 0 0.4 plus 0 0.2 I'll be getting as 0 0.6. So this 0 0.6 is greater than the existing 0 0.4, right? So this 0 0.6 I'll be writing first. Okay. Next, this 0 0.4 is written below 0 0.6 with the downward arrow mark. Then there are only two elements remaining in stage 4. So now grouping of the least two values of probability, assigning a value 0 and 1 should be terminated at this stage because there are only two elements. So these are the two elements that are present in stage 4. I'll be assigning a value 0 and 1 and the procedure is terminated at this stage. Alright. This is a procedure that we have to follow in Huffman encoding. Okay. After this, we are supposed to write the code words from this procedure that we have followed. So how will we write? First, we are supposed to write a tabular column for that. The tabular consists of three columns. First one is symbol, next one is probability, next one is code word. First column under the symbol, we'll be writing all the symbols, that is S0, S1, S2, S3 and S4. Next, we'll write the probability values, respective probability values that is already given in the problem. So we'll write the probabilities of the symbols and this code word. How will we write? First, let's find the code word for S0. So go back to this Huffman encoding procedure that you have followed. S0 code word I want. So trace the path. S0 value of probability is 0.4. So we have 0.4 again over here and then follow this arrow mark. We have 0.4 and we got 0 and traverse through this path. We have 0 and 0. So that is the code word for S0. Then trace the path of S1 in order to get the code word for S1. Probability is 0.2. There is a downward arrow mark. We have 0 over here and next this arrow mark is going over here to 0.4 and next downward arrow mark and it led to a probability value of 0.4 which is coded with the value 1. So first we got 0 and then we got 1. Now we should write this in reverse order. 1 0 is the code word for S1 and next code word for S2. Trace this path, downward arrow mark, we have 1 over here and next again we got 1. So 1 1 is the code word for S2. Go for S3. All of you please follow this path that the cursor is pointing to. First we have 0. Next, all of you please observe this path. We first got 0, then we got 1 over here and then carefully observe, we got 0 over here. 0 1 0. We should write it in reverse order. It will be the same. So the code word for that is S3 is 0 1 and 0. So I'll write 0 1 0 is the code word for S3. Next, S4. Trace this path. First we have 1. Please observe this path. 1 downward arrow mark and we got 1 more 1 over here. So we got 1 and 1 and then all of you please follow this path. We got 0 over here. So what we got is 1 1 and 0. The code word for this is 0 1 and 1. So 0 1 1 is the code word for symbol 4. And then this is the basic procedure that we are supposed to follow in Huffman encoding procedure. And what they've asked to find is redundancy and efficiency. In order to find the efficiency, we need to find the entropy and the average length. The average length formula and the entropy formula remains the same, like how we used to calculate for Shannon-Fano encoding. The same way, we are supposed to calculate average length and entropy, and from those two values, we'll be calculating the efficiency, which is given by the entropy by the average length, and we are supposed to multiply it by 100, since we'll be measuring the efficiency in terms of percentage, and redundancy is 1 minus the efficiency into 100%. So this is how we calculate the average length, entropy, redundancy and efficiency. These determining of these values will remain the same. If in case you have any doubts, please refer my previous video. And about the Huffman coding, this is the procedure that you have to follow. First, I'll just revise it. First thing what we'll be doing is arrangement of the probabilities in decreasing order and identifying the least two values of the probability, and then assigning a value 0 and 1, add it, and decide a position for that in accordance with the decreasing order in the succeeding stage. And then this step is followed until we reach a stage which has only two elements. Okay, and the two elements are grouped and assigned a value 0 and 1. The procedure is terminated over here. This is about Huffman encoding procedure. And about finding the code word, you're supposed to trace the path, and we are supposed to write the obtained bits in the reverse order in order to get the code word. This is about the Huffman coding that you are supposed to remember in this topic. The finding of average length, entropy, efficiency and redundancy will remain the same. This is about the Huffman encoding procedure. Thank you all.